One moment. Hey everyone, I'm back. Good changes reflected in this now. So um, let's say that I got quite a list here. It's not inclusive, but all those points on the bottom below my fingers. So great changes we're seeing. Number one, stores are making larger selections of organic produce. Up here in Canada, I've been monitoring this for the last several years, and what I'm seeing more and more that they are offering the better foods away from the chemicals. So there's wider selections, and even now compared to a few years in the past, where you really didn't see organics or very little unless you went to a specialty store. You are now seeing it being offered in most grocery stores that I have seen. So that is very good. So that's a good change. And also, having said that, I was kind of impressed when I read online. I was getting onto Save on Foods here in Canada on their free internet from a parking lot, and it took me to their area on their website that spoke about GMOs and about the gluten-free. I guess not the GMOs. It was mostly about the gluten-free products and how it was important and how they understood about the wheat, but it's the GMO'd wheat. However, they were spreading that awareness, which is great to see a store began to, promote the awareness on the healthier selections of food and to get away from the chemicals and the GMOs. So good. Um, Natural herbs and medicines becoming more widespread. I don't know you guys, but from town to town I go, I'm seeing, where they're able to, stores pop up with, herbs and medicines, and also in the bigger stores they have aisles and wider selections with older medicinal herbs that are coming back. Like for in Canada, there are many very beneficial medicinal plants, Labrador tea, horsetail, they're oh, stinging nettle. All of these are very powerful, and I've tried a lot of them, and they were showing up more and more in the stores, which is very good. Chaga or shaga, however you wish to say it, a very beneficial product, and so many more. So it's good to see the transition where the natural um, remedies also are coming back online. Dandelion root, the many benefits that has for the physical vessel. So that's very good. That's transitioning us back to 5D, and these are the medicinal things in your foods and your diets to assist with that. So great. Um, New technologies to clean up water and air. We are seeing this vast improvements, but also saying this, the galactics, and for what we are, that in the blink of an eye, the technology can be introduced the to a 5D timeline to clean everything up very efficiently upon the planet. For everything is energy, and with the right energetic ingredients, you can change things to give you just a hint, and it's by charging the energy to the positive love's vibration as well. So many of you have already solved that can be done on a small scale, but with actually, the technology is here to do that even now upon the planet. So, be taken care of. So, new technologies to collect water in dry places. In these drought-stricken areas, technology is there to make wells, but also collect it out of the atmosphere. So these are new technologies, and it ascertains a future, anyhow, for humanity, but not only just in certain places, all over geographically. So this is occurring as well. And as the ice melts in the north, the Antarctica, there's a much warmer climate that's being made available for the 5D. So there needs to be that migration, and which will help disperse some people to go further north, and with plants that used to be perhaps subtropical now can be planted in the upper parallels where they could not before. So there are huge transitionings happening in that respect. Many greenhouses, because of the toxicity of soils in certain areas, geographical areas, let me say that the greenhouses are going to offer cleaner produce. And I also spoke with a very good friend just the other day in person. They are actually working on a carbon, a sort of a carbon soil that is organic, that will affect this and create soil, so all chemicals and contaminated soil are not contaminating the food. So very good that is in the and perhaps coming close to fruition. Just to give you an inkling of some of the things that are being worked upon for the 5D and for the cleaner food and cleanup of the planets. Also the new technologies. I believe Sharon shared with me the other evening and put out about cleaning up the oceans, the plastics, and all of these. And as many of you know, as a result of the devastating tsunamis that occurred in Indonesia in 2000 or 1999, whenever that was, and also Fukushima, all of the plastics and garbage that were delivered into the Pacific, was just immense. But there are things to clean this up, and so more new technologies all the time. So very great to see that, right? And more free energy devices are being made and promoted. And that was occurring several years ago, and it is still ongoing. And also, what you will see is perhaps some more rollout from bigger companies to this effect as well. Society has no choice but to put these free energy devices out as we go forward. And commerce and money is wiped out the way it is, then it frees up all of this technology too. So there's much happening there. The vegetarian advancement, or at least less meat eating, is very interesting. So that's an indicator as well of not only the spiritual communities, but much deeper recognitions of what is involved in eating meat too. However, as we know, that it becomes a big process of some's physical body changing that you cannot even eat meat. But what it shows is it's very indicative of more going back to the vegetarian diet, which is more suited for the humanoid vessel going forward. And also, what I've witnessed with that, and I actually tried that last night, was that some of these fast food outlets like A&W, a wild cod burger. I was, it's pretty good food. Not maybe the bun might have was still processed with white flour. However, it's important to see that you're having that transition to the good food. And when you see all of the quick food joints beginning to transition, to organics or vegetarian, that lets you know that the population is transitioning. It's a definite indication. And, the way corporations work, they are prepared for that market niche to get in there ahead of time, right? And they know that they have to offer the better foods, even in the fast food outlets, or they don't compete. That's the old way of commerce and the old way that it works. But it's very good to see them transitioning. So that lets you know that this is real as well, that there's no turning back. So, great. So, many that you may meet, and I know that I meet, they agree, the government and the elites, all of them were corrupt. They're well informed, and it's good to see, to meet people, like that, because, again, that shows they're awakened to at least some degree, that they're aware. But when you begin meeting just so many like that, wherever you go, that the public is informed, at least to the level that great change is here and coming. And these are not people that are in protest. These are people you may run into in a store or a gas station. I do this. I'll just make a comment sometime, saying that, people shouldn't need to pay taxes. And you'll see them, they'll say, yeah, we don't agree with this, and what have you. And it sparks the awareness conversation out of it. So very good. People are informed, and no going back. The sealed indictments, woo! I think still over 100,000. That's very important. So that's in the 4D world. Everyone's seeing it, and they've also saw executive orders by Trump to this effect, to clean up the swamps and things. And Trump has been, let's say, a little bit more revealing in his speeches for those of you awakened, that it's blatant, to see the signs of what he's saying. Gold-backed currency that's taking the power away from the Fed and the bankers, and they lost, and temporarily going back to a gold-backed currency is very important, and it's given the power back to the people. And these things are only temporary. With Trump, he has a bit of an ego there. We need a good ego, but the bad ego part's going to go. And, Trump's doing a job, and what he deals with, I know myself as well. At times, if you're dealing with let's say not on here, but lower dimensional, lower consciousness ones, sometimes you'll say things at a lower consciousness level just to try to get a point across. So, for the most part, everyone does what they wish with Trump, but for sure, I give them the benefit of the doubt, and know that it's a lot more than that. They're backing Trump. And again, I wish to reiterate about Trump what happened in that election. You had almost half of the American people not even voting at all for any form of government. So that shows you how vast American people are awakened. And as we said before, only really a quarter had voted for Trump, and almost a quarter for Clinton's. But what's occurring is we're seeing is that the recent Epstein thing and all of this, it's all being revealed that what Trump was saying was the truth about the corruption. And the other night night I watched Trump saying he was on the inside. He was part of that elite uh, group. But he said, no, his consciousness went to a level he couldn't do it anymore. And let's say his heart began to open up, and he said, this isn't right. So, what Trump is doing his best with assisting the people, and he's gone down the same route what JFK did, which many of you loved him and still do. And what he was trying to do, JFK, was free the people. He had the new silver-backed currency, but it was also backed by some other PGMs, and began putting that currency out when JFK, separated from the Fed and the bankers. And but with JFK, he was assassinated. However, it also had to occur to show you what was going on and to expose more of the elite and the actual corruption in the world. And with Trump will not be assassinated. He's part of the light. If he's taken out by divinity in some way, then that means it's all over. He's not needed there anyway, but he will not be assassinated because this time, divinity, ever since 2012, divinity backs everything here. And there is no stopping this ascension, which changes the entire world. So very good. And as I said, a friend of mine said he saw in one of Trump's speeches mentioning the reset of currencies. That is the RV, and it is imminent, and it's going to be a temporary thing when that occurs. So, but again, you're seeing that put out there publicly by Trump. He's revealing it all to you. It's becoming more blatant, let's say, as we get closer and with every speech. So those things are indeed occurring. You have confirmations now coming out even in the mainstream medias, which, were trying to conceal the truths, which Trump had spoke about, but we all knew that. When you see them having no choice now to start revealing more of the truth and the corrupt ones, it's over. It's just playing this part of the movie to let it play out. But again, the light has won, and it does play out. So, very good things. It's confirmed. No one can refute nor deny that. And what was labeled a conspiracy theorist in 2011 and 2012, they're actual heroes of the truth now. So the tables have flipped, on that darkness, and darkness labeled them conspiracy theorists, to try to make it look like they're not. But let's say the tables got turned on the darkness there. So very good sign. Seeing, some self-healing. I've seen it in my travels over the last several years, but I'm seeing it more so that, more people are accessing the ability to heal themselves, like Shelley Saul with her ankle. Just amazing what she did with that broken ankle and healed herself without any surgery. Just totally awesome. And many more examples of that. I've come across ones in the past, said no, they didn't go with the drugs, that they actually heal themselves by, their own natural ways of doing it and with the mind. And it's, I'm seeing more and more of that, because the more advanced you become consciousness, the more in tune you are with your vessel to actually heal it very quickly. And that's not fact or delusion, or it's not fiction or delusion. It's actual fact. And you're going to see more of this all the time. So again, very good things. And that's in this reality that you're seeing. More awakening and spreading the news. I mean, look at your Facebook, if you will, for a lot of you. I notice on the social media, I'm mostly just on Facebook, but I am seeing new ones every day, um, awaken and coming to my awareness. And with the 1111 movement, uh, that Facebook page, I haven't checked the members, but that was such an amazing group that the numbers, I believe, the last time were over. I'm glitching. They were over 150,000. Well, if I'm glitching, I may have to not attempt to do this. Or that was a long while ago. Well, I'll get some of the news up and have a look at it. So where was I at? So yeah, a lot of things coming out. Another thing, you see the huge protest by the people growing and growing. It was amazing in China over that extradition bill that they tried to pass when there were tens of thousands in the street protesting it, and the Chinese police, military, or whatever, started firing upon them. In a few days' time, there was a couple million or a million people showed up. So no, the governments and these sort of things that are purposely trying to control the people and bringing bad things to them. These governments they just cannot remain going forward, and they will not, and they are not with that. So you're seeing, we had the French yellow vest protests, Venezuela, even in Canada and the U.S. over the years, these huge protests that the mainstream media, would not report on, kept it concealed. The actual unrest, it's coming out more and more, and it's the great work of so many of you behind the scenes with the alternative news. And each one, with your phone at the protest, documenting the videos, it created just a vast documentation that actually it showed that what you were saying and what the people were doing was true. And then it showed the mainstream media, where they weren't reporting it, it became very blatant what the agenda of the mainstream media or the owners of that mainstream media actually was, which was ill intent. So what it done, it has discredited at the time, and in conjunction with what Trump says, it has discredited the mainstream media, that they have no choice but to begin putting out the real news. So that battle was won with that as well. New protests growing every day, and I was so glad to see the other day, the protest of let's say demanding basic income. You got people standing up. They know, no, this is part of the wealth disparity that was there. We're going toward equality, and there's going to be in the future no low class, middle class, high upper class people no more. No, that does not work, and it will not. So you're seeing many protests to that effect, and you're seeing support, and you're seeing growing. So these are all good things. This stuff is happening, and I'm going through, a list of what I like to call confirmations that it is so. These are the ones anyone can, if you walk out on the street, see with your own eyes. So you don't need to believe me, anyone new watching this. I'll just point you in the direction, look over there, and you can confirm it for yourself if you wish. And you also have the choice of not believing it, but with that, I say sooner or later you will believe it, because it is here and it is happening. And once you break the conditioning that was, you can easily see everything, and that will will be occurring. So homeschooling, I'm seeing that growing. A very good thing because of what the schools dictated, the false teachings and false histories, and even economics, as sick as what that was, tried to teach ones in school economics that's built on deception. No, no, no. These sort of things. So that's all fading out, and a lot of homeschooling is becoming more widespread because the schools must transition as well. How am I doing, everyone? Still great here? Yeah, okay, we got some, I see some emojis coming up, so that means I'm still broadcasting. Thank you. So yeah, homeschooling, vaccine battles, I'm seeing the people stand up more against them, and you know, these vaccine battles, that vaccines are actually losing, and that's what I see. And the vaccines, they have no choice but to go to the wayside. Again, they're not supported by the masses of the people, and it doesn't matter what a government does. When the people doesn't support the governments cannot force people to vaccinate their children and inject these poisons into them. It's that simple. So it's great to see that, and it's all coming down. Sovereignty themes, this is growing. One up here in Canada, I believe they call it the CPU movement, is people taking back their sovereignty and just saying, no, the governments don't represent them. Would you want a government representing you and saying that, yeah, you love to work till you're 65 and maybe even work till you're 85 and have no life? No. And that's what the governments were doing, right? So these sovereignty issues, and also knowing that you're a free citizen and no one has the right to tell you where you can go and not go upon this planet. That is absolutely ridiculous to the fullest extent. So you're seeing the transitioning, that ones are recognizing their sovereignty and what they are, and more of the truth. Even you can even add in here at this point, one's recognizing just because they were born on this planet that a certain amount of money is printed off of their head for the economy. So you get back into the basic deception of economics, and very quickly you can see what was going on. So they wrote $1 billion, let's say, just because you exist, but here you are living in poverty and might only ever, in your entire lifetime, make a couple million. The math is very quick. Where did all the hundreds of millions go? So you can look at it so many ways, but that's all conduct. All hidden top-level crimes being exposed. Yeah, so that's part of the revelations, the revealing of what was occurring behind the scenes, because it cannot go forward. So again, to be seen, these high-level puppet masters were puppet masters, seeing them being exposed for what they are, where they controlled everything that occurred here for a long time. When you see them being revealed and exposed and charged, it tells you that the light is there, and it is, and it's underneath, pushing this all to the surface for the rest to see. And yeah, these are the end times of darkness, not the end times of humanity. Humanity lives on, and you always ascend, and there is no death with it. However, we are currently amidst the separation from that darkness, and the darkness has no choice that they remain behind, or the darkness becomes part of the light, the ones that were able to. But now this is a different story, because a lot of the darkness also chose not to go to the light, and so their times of existences will be carried out here in the lower dimensions. However, they are not to interfere with this ascension, and every soul is to rise above it in accordance with the divine plan of what's going to occur. But I keep rambling sometimes. So great, good things. So we're seeing more what we could call light communities and projects occurring. More are getting together and making their own little communities away from the government, capitalism, the commerce, and so that's also a confirmation of the transition in the times that we are actually in and what is actually occurring. So that is great. And with that, many are limiting the control of the dollar upon their lives, the control of the money. You're seeing many of that doing it. Barter exchange systems coming back. One's going to the woods, living simple, and these are all signs. And, hey, Simone, boy, it's good to see you, girl. You're doing awesome. And great radio show. I didn't have the opportunity to listen to it. I'm so busy, Simone, trying to get things out here. But each one of us is doing our part, and I'm sure, and I know that you are as well. So it's great to see that. And these times, many are manifesting and witnessing the miracles. You're seeing the things in the skies. You're documenting it with your cameras, with your little videos, the ships, the clouds forming into very special things, lots of beautiful heightened weather, what they call in the 3D world phenomenon, but it's really actually divine weather magic or what have you. So yeah, lots of good things. ETs and things on the ships, that's being exposed to the 4D. You're seeing more of that come out. You also saw with, I believe his name is General Hillier maybe called. Just not certain now on his name. I mean, he was in the government. He had, openly spoke at seminars saying about it, that it's real. Yeah, it's real. And but it's at much higher levels now. What occurred before was that there were malevolent ETs that were here as part of the darkness. But since the light come in 2011, 2012 actually, and made that that stand, what occurred is all malevolent ET were put to the side and could not interfere. Any interactions, any ETs were benevolent from 2012, the late fall forward. And anything that might have seemed like a malevolent experience was not that at all. It was for the individual to overcome some aspects of, let's say, ETs on the fear level, so it was for other purposes. So, well, I won't lie, I guess I don't need it. So, great. I just wanted to do that live, and I hope it comes out pretty good, and just to, basically just run down a list, and yeah, thanks. And run down the list, and just show ones. There's many confirmations. I had a list of 20 points. I know more of you could add a lot more to it. These are confirmations, again, confirming that this is so and what's occurring, and the transition is there. And we're actually headed for good times, not bad times. Someone looks at the not awake, looks at the news and said, all the corruption, all this world is done. No, They just don't know that the light was behind all of this to clean it up. It's a transitional process. And we have done it actually, and we're playing the role of doing it here again. Uh, so we have already thought, no, we're putting it on paper, if you will, and leave it behind as part of the history. So cool. Yeah, Bernadette says, Mark says, yep, we took the move. Yeah, we did, Bernadette. And, it was between November the 18th, November the 23rd of 2012. That was the period that I was lifted into the transitory 4D. There were dark choices made at that time to which darkness would surrender. There were a couple, let's say, dark battles won by the light. There's never, the light always wins, and with that, and that's what occurred. So any darkness that would not comply was taken out, and any ET facet, like the old grays, if you will, anything that was supporting that were taken out, and or they had a choice to be quarantined and not interfere with anything in the ascension process. So that's what occurred, and we did it. And Simone, Simone Boyce, she says, I had a miracle today. So do you wish to type it in, Simone, quickly, or if you will, or we may be speaking later and you can share it, but everyone I always encourage strongly these miracles, share them with the world. This also helps to awaken more. Got there. Load it again. But yeah, everything's great with that. So once again, I'm gonna let you go. Not sure if this is broadcasting, and we'll check it out later. So winks, much love. We already did it. We're just going through the actions and playing the role now to get it integrated on paper into history. So whatever we need to do here. So I love you all and have a great day, and thank you so much. Bye now.